Hi, this is Professor Innes, and I'm your teacher for the course Introduction to Philosophy going on for the next 16 weeks. So, for this first week, you don't have too much to do apart from the introduction discussion boards and other such work whereby you just introduce yourself to other students and get into a bit of a discussion about, what's on the syllabus and or what you're expecting of the course. Just general stuff to start with. We need to just get used to the Blackboard system if we haven't done so already, and get used to this course. So read through the syllabus, look at the schedule, and see what is expected of us for the next 16 weeks. So not much expected here with the first week, but nonetheless do the work. There's 80 points of credit there for you to do, so if this type of work seems pointless to you, which often does seem pointless, but we still need to do it, then at least there's credit there. There is some philosophy involved, not too much, so you can actually do some philosophical discussion for this week. But we do have to understand the syllabus, and we do have to understand the Blackboard system. Make sure that everybody understands it, so therefore the rest of the course can go along without any problems. So with that, you have all these considerations with your work. I'm just looking through right now with your assignments, and your first assignment has what is the philosophy cartoon. You've got a getting to know you discussion board. Do you know your philosophy syllabus discussion board, and do you know other students discussion board? Right, so 3 discussion boards there. We'll be using those in this course, as well as the journal. With the journal entry, what you do is you're going to make an entry, and then I reply to your entry, and then you reply to mine. So keep that in mind at all times. You have got to reply to my entry to get the full credit. So hopefully this will be done on time. So if I've got it right, you make your first entry by Thursday. I will endeavour to make my reply by Friday, and then you make your reply to me by Saturday. Of course, I'm not desperately concerned that you make your reply by Saturday. By Monday will be fine, but I will be doing the grading on the journal and the rest of the work by Monday, Tuesday. So make sure you got my reply by Monday. And again, there are times for you to do these, but I'm a bit flexible as far as that's concerned. But nonetheless, do it within the week of the course. Definitely make sure you have your entry done by Thursday for the journal, so I can reply to it. If it's not that I can't reply, it's as simple as that. There's no me being funny about it or anything. It's just I've got nothing to reply to. So make sure you do. So journal entries by Thursday, please. Thank you for that one. And for the Blackboard system, if I've got it right with this one, you make your entry in the Blackboard, and other people reply to it, and you reply to theirs. Now, in order to get this credit, you've got to make those replies. So look at the instructions. Look at the instructions as far as the Blackboard assignments are concerned, and follow those instructions. If it says write 50 words or 100 words, just write that much for that reply or that entry. If you write a sentence and you're supposed to do a whole paragraph of 50 words, then that will be a concern. In philosophy, we discuss things. We use lots of discussion, and brief replies are often simply not good enough. They don't describe what we're saying, and they don't put forward a correct argument. An adequate, substantial argument to back up what we're saying. So make sure you write. And for me, 50, 100 words is not enough anyway. But if I ask people to do 500 words, they tend to get a bit upset. So, nonetheless, make sure you make those replies. Follow the instructions, please. And if you've got any problems with the instructions, do email me about anything. We've got the telephone we can use here, or you can text me. Text is very much more efficient than the Blackboard system because than the email system, simply because I'm not always at the computer, whereas this thing follows me around everywhere, and I can reply to you no matter where I am. So text is the way to go for the future, and best to use that one. Yeah, 8 emails are fine, but expect a delay. I'm not exactly a fan of emails. So, and even a telephone call would be fine. So, hopefully that's introduced the introduction to this course, the Getting Started Week 1. It just means you have to get on with these things and have your entries done by the 15th. I've got to get used to these times as well, which is the Thursday, and make those replies by the 17th, which is the Saturday. Okay, so let's have a look. So that's our introduction. Now, with philosophy, you're doing a bit of philosophy in this first week. In philosophy, we've got to understand right from the beginning that we are not providing answers to questions. We are simply asking questions. So if it's the case somebody has this concern about political or social rights, then we don't say what is a right or what is a social right, what we are allowed to do or what we're not allowed to do. We simply ask the question, what is it to have this right, whether it's political or social? What says that we can do something and what says we can't do something? We ask those questions. We don't put forward the answer necessarily. We can't be that adamant. We can't be pedantic by saying here's the conclusion, because for every conclusion there are a dozen more questions to answer. So we just realized there is a problem, especially for an introduction course here. We don't want to be so cavalier as to try and put forward a thesis which solves the problems of moral philosophy or the theory of knowledge or metaphysics in this course. We'll let people do that in higher up courses and suffer the consequences there afterwards with the teacher criticizing the argument. Here we're just asking questions. Again, that is what we do in philosophy. So again, with rights, we've got this concern at the moment with this situation in France of the journalist drawing the cartoons as a critique of fanatics, no matter who they are, and then the fanatics go and get him and kill him. Now, this is to do with freedom of speech, which I take it to be a right. Right, so yes, we find that an attractive argument. I know lots of people in France at the moment, in Paris in particular, and people from all around the world making it quite clear they agree to this position. But isn't that not just a preference? I prefer freedom of speech over the regulation of speech, whereby I need to keep my mouth shut and not draw these cartoons. Is that not just a preference? Now, if we say that it's not just a preference, then we have to put forward a pretty strong argument, if not a valid argument. By valid we mean here to be certain beyond doubt, type of argument which says that rights, political rights, are sacrosanct and therefore beyond doubt certain. Now, in order to provide the argument, we have to provide the proof to do so. Can we do that? And simply providing proof which is based upon our preferences, that we like these rights, we like to exercise these rights, is not enough. We have to provide that proof. So therefore, in philosophy, we ask those questions. We leave the politicians to come up with the belief that they're certain about things. Even though we might agree to them, we as philosophers have got to hold on to that notion of doubt that maybe this argument is wrong, even though I prefer it and it sounds like the best argument. Again, no really proof that it's the correct argument. So what we do, therefore, in philosophy is ask those questions. So when we come towards ethics, for example, we could say, okay, I think that killing is wrong. Right, so that means, is killing wrong under all circumstances? This is when it becomes problematic, because we might say that killing under certain circumstances is okay. So does that mean you've just contradicted yourself by saying that killing is wrong but not under all or circumstances. Right, that sounds like a peculiar argument. It doesn't sound like a very sound argument. So we've got problems in stating that killing is wrong. So in that sense, we think to ourselves, we've got this understanding that killing is wrong, and I put forward this argument. Is it a sound argument? Is it an argument which can stand up to criticism? So we look at these arguments put forward by the philosophers in ethics, for example, and see how much we can think about these arguments and see if they can be put into practice. Because if they can't, because they have contradictions, or they're simply too objectionable, or they're too rigid, then of course that is a problem. Likewise, in the theory of knowledge, how do we come about knowledge, and if this knowledge is certain? These are problems, as you're going to understand. We're not certain. We've got one argument. You're going to discuss René Descartes and John Locke. They have opposing arguments. They're contrary arguments to each other, to how we gain knowledge and how this knowledge can be seen as certain. Again, which one is the correct argument? I don't know the answer to this. I can say I prefer one over the other, but does this mean to say it's a correct argument? So this is us as philosophers, and as you've noticed, there are no answers. I'm not going to put forward an answer to this. I'm simply going to realize there are problems. This could be frustrating for some, or it could be enlightening to others. It could be enlightening because hitherto you've thought about these questions, put forward an argument, and realized it to be unsubstantial. Here you're going to realize, yes, the answer is unsubstantial, but it's because we can't put forward a substantial answer to the problem. Now, if it's going to be annoying to you because you like black and white answers to questions, then this course might be good for you in the sense it's going to break you away from those break you away from that desire for black and white answers, therefore presumed certain answers, because there are no certain answers and one shouldn't be trying to put them forward. So we say to ourselves, maybe that is liberating. I don't know. You let me know at the end of the course if it has liberated you from this presumption of things being certain in nature, whereas really they're not certain. Has it made you more critical, therefore? And from that more critical standpoint, allowed you to think about anything from politics to moral philosophy and how these people put forward these certain viewpoints. But really, they're not certain in nature. So that's how we do philosophy. So hopefully this brief introduction video has had that introduction for us, not only to the course itself, with all the detail you have written down, but also to how we're going to do philosophy. This is how we do philosophy. We ask lots of questions. We do not have presumptions about what is right or wrong about this argument, what is correct or not correct. We simply ask questions. Okay, so remember to contact me if for any given reason, especially if something's not going right with the course, something technical. I haven't opened up one of the modules, or one of the question boards isn't working properly. Let me know, because I've checked everything, but then again from your end it might not be working properly, so let me know, please. Okay, speak to you soon, and especially speak with you in the journal entries. Great, thanks a lot, and speak to you soon.